Hello there, it's Jay here from Jay's Vintage Junk, and today I thought we'd have a look at this. Not specifically the flight case, but that's actually the whole reason I've got this thing. Basically what happened, I needed a flight case around this kind of size. So I went having a peruse on eBay, as you do, second-hand flight cases. And everything I could find that was decent, as in actually a proper flight case, not just some aluminium case, because there is a complete difference between a proper flight case and some of these cheap aluminium cases that you see. They would not hold up being thrown in the hold of an aircraft or in the back of a 7.5 ton wagon by some clueless roadie. These will. But basically they are quite expensive, even second hand. You know, like I said, I needed one about this size. So I had a look on eBay, and they were all around this size, £40 plus, second hand plus postage. So I thought, they didn't really more than I wanted to pay. So I was doing as I do often. I was perusing around the vintage computing section of eBay, and I spotted this flight case. And basically it said vintage bonding router. Spares a repair, and it was £10 with £7 postage on it. And I thought, well, that case is worth 17 quid. I can't get a case like this for 17 quid. So I put a bid on it for 10 quid, and I got it for the opening bid of a tenner. So what have we got? What is a vintage bonding router? So, like I said, the case is going for another purpose. It's what's inside it, which I thought we would do this video on. If we open it up, you can tell this is a proper flight case because you can actually lift the lid off. And let me find out where I can put that. And here we have the contents. We've got some 19-inch rack ears, we've got some more brackets, and a clue what this thing is, maybe. But wait, they go that way, don't they? Yeah, one that way, that one that way. We've got some never used fixings. A standard IEC lead, and then we have the unit itself. Now, I'll lift that out. And that's the unit. And it comes with some accessories. Basically it comes with these, and these, if you basically them brackets I showed before, these silver brackets will go on the bottom of there, and then these fit out like that. So those attach into the back, and this is where it gets interesting. They attach into the back of this. Now, I didn't realise this until I actually got this thing. None of the pictures in the eBay listing showed the back of this thing, and I wasn't actually entirely sure what it was. It just said vintage bonding router, and it wasn't until I actually got it and I lifted this out of the box I realised what this thing was. Because if we look on the bottom here, we've got standard PC, VGA, serial, keyboard, sounds, USB, network. Slightly unusually, we also have composite video out and S-video out. At the top here, now this is where it gets really interesting. Although this we haven't got a use for this top piece. It is obsolete. It is totally obsolete. We're more interested in what the other parts are. But basically, what we've got here, we've got the two connections for the aerials, and then just next to them, I think I'll need a pen or something to pop one of these out. Let me just see if I've got my And there's my toolbox. Let me see if I've got something in here I can pop the oops. Sorry about that. I just banged the tripod with my must be something in here. Small and pointy. There we go. There's a small pointy thing. Right. And we will I will show you basically we've got two aerial connections there, that them two aerials I showed you connect onto, and then here we've got two slots. Now if I press it in, it releases, no, it's not an SD card. Those are old school SIM card holders, because basically what this thing is, this is from a time from before you really had lots of smartphones, smart devices with you know, 4G connectivity. And if you was out in the field and you needed internet, this is what you use. This is 3G technology. Now, I don't, if any of you don't know, my actual background is in theatre and events management. I mean, I started in like theatre and events management, what, in about 2004, mostly in theatre in 2004, drifted more into events management 2005, and we actually used to hire equipment like this we didn't own any of this equipment. There's a few companies around the country used to do this type of stuff and used to hire it out. And basically, like I said, we had an event out where there was no internet, but they wanted internet access. This connected to the 3G network and gave you basically 3G data, which you could then spew out through the hub here and give you a proper wired connection from a remote location. And like I said, it was sold as completely obsolete, and it is. I mean, there are no SIM cards in here, and I don't even think there's probably any software or anything you could actually get to work with the actual mobile phone hardware that's in here now. Like I said, it's completely obsolete. This is the computer itself. I'm not actually sure what the computer is yet, but it's going to be like Pentium 4 era. It's early 2000, you know, perhaps about 2005, 2006. It's got a bit. I'm reckoning. I haven't found out yet, but I'm reckoning this thing's probably around that kind of age. But yeah, that's what we've got. Like I said, the case, basically, I bought this thing for the case. This is just a bonus. This is just excuse me, some fun that we can have some fun with, have a play with, see if we can do something with it, make something out of it. And like I said, I got the case basically with the thing that I wanted. So what I'll do, I'll just pause the video for a minute. I'll get this case out of the way. I'll get this on the I'll get this up on the table, and we can take a quick squiz inside it, and we'll have a go at firing it up, see if we can get it to do anything. So back very, very shortly. Okay, we're back and we've got it out on the table. Now we could just, cause basically it's a PC, we could just connect it up. I've got a VGA monitor here and see what it does, but let's take a leaf out of Dave Jones' book and not turn it on. Let's take it apart. So let's get inside it and we can have a look what goodies we've got inside here. In fact, what I'll do is I will tip it up like that, because I need to take these two screws out and we can have a good squiz inside it. I have had a quick piece pre-squiz, I must admit, so I know what's in here, but it is quite cool. Right, so we take the screws out, and what have we got? There we go. So we've got a Western Digital, I think that's 160 gig hard drive, but we've also got down here, this is the mobile, basically the mobile data board. That I think is a pretty standard like router that they've took out of its box think that's probably USB, is it? It's got a USB port there. We've got 3 lines connecting it there, and we'll have to find out where that goes in the computer. We've got standard +5 and +12 volt power to it there. So I don't know if it's a standardised board or what, but it's basically just a network hub. But we have this, like I said, this interesting board that's got the 2 mobile phone SIM card, basically 2 mobile phones, computer controlled mobile phones there, but they are very, very old technology. But interestingly, we also have this Kingston, it's a 4 gig compact flash card. And then we have a, oh, that's USB as well. Interesting. Didn't realise that. We've got this board at the front here, which is basically like a little OLED display type thing. I don't think it'll be OLED. OLED came out a lot later than this, but you know the type of thing, little LED display. What we will do is we will we'll power it up and we'll see what we can get to come up on screen. I'll point you up a little bit like that so you can see the screen. Let's plug some things in. Plug that in there. Now, just bear with me a second, folks, because I've just got to connect my monitor, and I've got a keyboard here as well. So we'll see if we can get into. I don't don't honestly know what software this thing's going to be running. Probably some Linux variant, I'd expect. Judging from these that I've seen in the past, or similar hardware I've seen in the past, it all seems to be Linux based. And we've plugged the keyboard into it. We've got VJ up it. We need to give it some power. So what we need is another IEC lead. Have we got a spare IEC lead kicking about somewhere? That is the question. Ugh, how annoying. Have a quick look in these drawers, and then I might have to pause the video while I go and find another IEC lead, unfortunately. Bugger. Just bear with me, folks, I'll be right back as soon as I've found another IEC lead. Okay, how many of you were screaming, there's one in the box, there's one in the box? Right, we'll plug that in there. When was this pack tested? Test date October 2014, so it's probably the last time this thing was actually in service. Get you down a little touch so you can see see if anything comes on the display. But it's out of pack test, but I think we'll risk it. Right, we'll give that some power there. And well, the power button is actually a bit broken, but we'll see if it'll. Oh, yeah, powered up. There we go. Can you see that? We've got welcome to Grub. So yeah, it is basically IMO, that's the yeah, Intelligent Mobile Office booting. This is what I was saying about, let me just bring you down so you can see. This is what I was saying about it having a little display on it. It does look very much like OLED, but I expect this thing to be too old for OLED. Now I don't know whether it's going to do anything, because it probably there's no SIM cards in it for one thing, so it's probably going to try and establish a connection with a mobile network and fail. I wonder if there's anything what we can actually do with it, whether there's any software we can get on to get it to do anything. buttons don't seem to be doing anything at the moment, but it does also say it's IMO booting. What else is it telling us? Well, secondary slave disk. So that so obviously the hard drive's the master, and the Kingfisher, sorry, the Kingston card is the slave by the look of this, 'cause it's coming up. LRG8833. That's 4 gigabytes. Unfortunately, that's it doesn't seem to be. Well, it does. It's still coming up saying it's booting. Oh, hang on, it's doing something. Come up with a... Right, yeah, it's done what I thought. It's coming up that it's down, no SIM cards, but it did actually try and establish an IP address then. None of these controls seem to want to do anything. And this thing was sold as spares or repair. Well, it doesn't seem to want to do anything. Let's see if you can get into a BIOS or anything like that. It might be password protected though. Don't want to reset on the keyboard. Let's try giving it a... I'll have to fix that power button if I want to use this case. Let's see if we can get it into a BIOS screen or anything. It's usually delete. Ah, there we go. Oh, that's an old BIOS. That is an old BIOS, look at that. Yeah, it's the old Phoenix award BIOS. I remember this. Is so what? Was they still using this Pentium 4, or could it be even earlier than that? I'm not sure. I wonder what we've actually got in here. Standard CMOS features. Well, amazingly, actually, the date, Tuesday, June the 18th, 2019, is actually correct. That's quite impressive. Yeah, we've got the 160 gig hard drive as our master, and then strangely enough we've got the slave on channel 1 is the CF card. That's the compact flash. We've got total extended memory. What have we got there? 45,772. I think it's got like 500 mega RAM in it. It's got a lot of RAM in it. Right, advanced BIOS features. Let's see what we've got here. I think it doesn't tell us what the processor is. And it doesn't see. I can't see it on the main splash screen either. It seems to jump off the top of the screen. CPU features. Let's see. I don't know. I'm not 100% sure what I'm looking at here because I don't know whether it's a Pentium. I'm guessing it probably is like kind of Pentium 4 era, I'd expect. Let's see what else we can find in. It doesn't really tell us very much. Save and exit setup. Exit without saving. Let's not make any mistakes. Again, it just comes back up to this, but we can't see any of the information we really need. It's disappeared off the top of the screen. I wonder. I've got here FreeDOS on a USB stick. I wonder if we could perhaps get it to boot into FreeDOS. Switch it off. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to disconnect the hard drive because I might actually, in fact I might take out, I don't know, Let's try disconnecting the hard disk. In fact, we don't have to do that, do we? We can just plug the USB stick in, and we can see if we can get it to boot from USB. Let's stick that in the back. We'll just make sure we don't try and install FreeDOS onto the hard drive yet. I'll put the USB stick in the back. Let's switch it back on. I think we'll have to go back into the BIOS and make sure the USB stick is the first boot device. Alright, advanced BIOS features, hard disk boot priority. Right, there it is, USB hard drive. So we want to change that to the first priority. Well, that's strange. It was trying to boot from the CF card. I wonder what would happen if we tried to get it to boot from the hard drive instead of the CF card, because the CF card was the first thing on the boot priority. Let's just before we try booting from that USB, let's see. There we go. We've got the hard drive as the primary boot device now. Let's see if it'll boot off the hard drive. It might just boot a different version. It's strange it was trying to boot off the compact flash as the primary boot device, but let's see what that'll do. I'm just fiddling about here. You're just playing along with me here. Like I said, I just got this thing today. Save, exit and setup, yes. So I'm literally just having to play, see what I've got. So I was expecting it just to be like literally a router in here. I wasn't expecting it to have like the hardware that it's got in it. Let's see. No active partition. Right, so that it looks like that it's either dead or that Western Digital hard drive literally has nothing on it. Well, if that's got nothing on it, we'll perhaps install FreeDOS on it. Let's try booting through. Let's try. Let's try booting FreeDOS. There we go. We've got the oh no, it's there. USB HD. That's the USB stick I've got with FreeDOS on it. That should work. That should work, right. Okay, let's escape, save and exit setup, yeah. Let's see whether we can just get it to boot FreeDOS. Yes. No, I don't want to install FreeDOS because let's turn to DOS. What's screen's slightly off, isn't it? I can't read that. Let me just sort that out. Menu, position. There we go. That's better. There we go. Right, so that's C. Let's see if we can see any other drives. D. That's probably a RAM drive for the FreeDOS. Let's see if there's anything else on here. E. No. F. No. G. No. Do you know what I'm going to do? Just because I want to see this computer actually boot on its own. Switch it off. I'm going to pull that Kingfisher not King. Why do I keep saying Kingfisher? It's Kingston. I'm going to pull that Kingston CF card that it came with it in, because it might have interesting stuff on there. I'll hook that up with a Linux computer and see if I can actually read it. But I've got some, yeah, that'll do for playing about with. I've got some 512 megabyte compact flash cards here. I can use one of them for playing with. And we'll see if we can get it to boot off that. And we can put whatever operating systems we want on that. This could be rather a cool computer to play with. I'll put that out of harm's way. Right, so I've put another compact flash card. It's only a half gig one, but that's plenty for us to just install FreeDOS on and have a bit of a play. Let's see if it's gonna, yeah. Now English, and yes to continue the installation. UK English. Full installation, go on, let's see. Yeah, go on, let's see. I don't even know how quickly this thing installs actually, so we can see. It should be reasonably fast, because I mean it's quite a lightweight operating system, isn't it? And this thing's got plenty of RAM in it, so we don't know what the processor is, but it can't be too horrendous. And it's writing from a USB stick to solid state storage, so again the hard drive, it may be formatted with some Linux formatting, I'm not sure. I'll pull the hard drive out, and I've already got the other CF card here, and I'll try them on a Linux machine I've got and see if I can actually see what's on them. But I'm not that interested in that. That's just a bit of a curio. It's more this hardware that I'm quite interested in. Actually, it is quite cool. It'll take a bit to get that. Try and get down to the motherboard and actually find out what it is. I'll have to see if the company's still in business as well. It's an Intelligent Mobile Office, and it's www.emsimo.com. It may still be. This may still be going. So this is definitely well obsolete though. Hopefully, I mean, what we're up to now? Nearly 50%. Might as well do this as a real-time installation, and gives you an idea how quickly FreeDOS can be installed off a memory stick. And these memory sticks are particularly slow ones. They were dirt cheap, very cheap. The 16 gig memory sticks. This is something for what we do, for messing about with old computers. Actually, they're fine. Oh, that's an 8 gig version. But same ones, these. I bought 10 of them from China for, I think it was like 25 quid, and the 16 gig. And they are 16 gig, I've checked them out. They're not these fake ones where it says it's 16 gig and they're not the 1 gig. They are actually 16 gig. The only problem with them is, and it's not a major problem for what we're using them for, you're messing about with old hardware, is they are incredibly slow. They are very slow. You know, if you're only moving a few gigs of data and you're using to store all files in them. I've got one of these with just about every Spectrum game on it. I've got one with just about every piece of Amiga software on it, you know, things like that. And you're only pulling a few files off at a time, they're fine. But if you want to move gigs and gigs of data at any one time, don't buy these cheap ones from China, because they are very slow. We're nearly there, 93%, 94%. Let's have a quick look here, let's see what it's going to do. 97. Oh no, keeps going. 100%. Right, let's see. Software package installed. Transferring system boot files to drive D. I've never actually installed FreeDOS before. I must admit. I just downloaded it. I thought I'd have a try. Right, so let's take the memory stick out. Out it comes, and let's reboot and see if it'll boot. Let's see. No, didn't like that. Oh, hang on, or is it not trying to boot from that? Is it trying to boot from the hard drive? It definitely copied it to there, I think. Let's go back into the BIOS. Control Alt Delete. And let's set that as the primary boot, or set the compact flash as the primary boot device, and let's just make sure. Oh, it is. Got the SAM disk there. There's the oh, hang on. There we go. First, and then let's have the hard drive as the second. Right. I don't think that's going to make much difference. Let's have a quick try. Save and exit setup. Yes. Let's see if it's going to boot off this this compact flash card. Yes, it did. Yes, it worked that time, I think. Here we go. Right. Oh, I think I'll have to readjust the. That's going to be annoying. We have to readjust this every time it reboots. There we go. And let's menu. This could make a really cool retro computer. The only problem being that it hasn't actually got a floppy drive in it, but it definitely works. Right, like I said, I've never used FreeDOS before, but it seems to be very much like what's DCIM? Let's see what this is. 100. Hang on. CD 100. N C D 70. Oh, it's pictures of something. I'm sure I'll find out when I get more into FreeDOS. I haven't got a clue what they're about. Let's see what FDOS is. VDF. FDOS. Oh, right. Packages, boots. CD. I don't know what I'm doing with this really. And like I said, I'm just having a bit of a play, having a bit of a look around this FreeDOS really. But it proves that this computer actually does work. It's just like I say, I wish I knew what the actual processor in it was. But I'm expecting around the Pentium 4 kind of mark. Yeah. App info. Let's see. It's a shame we can't find something like Microsoft Diagnostics actually that would run on it. I suppose, I don't know. See, the problem is how do we get anything onto or off this computer at the moment, being that yes, we've got USB, but I don't think FreeDOS can read off a USB. I don't know. Can FreeDOS read off a USB stick? I'm sure it can't. What could we try? Let's try sticking a USB stick in and see if because that's how we could get. So if it does, that's how we can get software on, off and on here. Because obviously we've no floppy drive on here. With no CD-ROM drive, we've just got a USB hole on the back. I'm sure actually with the age of the motherboard probably does have a floppy drive connector. Right, let's have a let's see if there's a D drive. No. E. No. F. No. B. That's the usual. Right, no. So no, we've just got the C drive. And all we've got is DOS on it now, but never mind. That's a start. So yeah. I think I'm going to leave it there for this this little tear down, this look at this thing for today. But I think we'll be revisiting this little computer and seeing what else we can make it do. So when I can find out a bit more information, I want to find out actually who made this. 'Cause I'm pretty sure IMO won't have actually made this whole thing, and it'll be made by someone else and then branded by them or customised for their use. It's basically just an industrial PC. Very, very nice, tiny form factor. And well, I have got one idea for a use for it actually. There's been incidents in the area, and I quite fancy installing a CCTV system. In fact, I actually picked up a CCTV system not long ago on eBay, mainly because a friend of mine wanted some cameras to expand his system, and it was just cheaper to buy this entire system. So I have actually got the computer from that, but it's in a very nice case which I've got other uses for. So I might actually take the capture boards out of that, because I think they are just two PCI boards, and we do have two PCI slots down here. And I may think about turning this into a DVR for a home CCTV system. I'm not sure yet. It's certainly going to get recycled into something nice and useful and usable. And there's other cool things, you know, obviously 4 gig CF card, you know, Amiga 600, Amiga 1200, that's perfect hard drive replacement for there, and these Kingston ones definitely work nicely in Amigas, because it's what I've used in the past with most success in old Amiga hardware. So that's awesome to get, and well, you can't go wrong with a 160 gig ID hard drive. They always come in handy. And then we've just got the rest of it to faff and fanny about with. Like I said, we can't really use the actual mobile phone side of it here, because it's 3G technology, it's obsolete, and we don't have the SIM cards, we don't have the contract to actually utilise any of that. But that's not what this is about. It's what we can actually make out of what we've got, which is, I mean, essentially this would have ended up as e-waste getting crushed and chipped if it hadn't have gone on eBay for the last, you know, is it any use to anyone? And quite frankly, the £17 including postage I paid, the flight case is worth to me more than the £17, so all this is just an awesome bonus. Anyway, I'm going to leave it there for now. Like I said, there will be like some kind of update on this at some point in the future when I decide what I'm actually going to do with it. So thanks for watching, and goodbye.